reliable versus unreliable. All right. So this is another sort of choice you make. Remember, we had connectionless and connection-oriented. Next one, reliable, unreliable. Now we can do these in any order too. Let's do, I think I did reliable in the earlier class, so that we'll do unreliable first. Unreliable. If I'm going to be unreliable, what I'm going to do is I'm going to detect errors but not fix them. All right? So if I want to be unreliable, I'm going to detect errors. Now here's why we detect errors. So why detect? We always detect in telecommunications, well, in the computer world in general. Why are we going to detect? Remember, I'm sending a header, so it has my metadata in it. I have a bunch of data here. Okay? And I'm sending this from wherever to whatever source. Okay? Now, what happens if there's an error along the way? I was seeing something where if you change one bit in a JPEG file, the whole image will be messed up. So you flip one bit, change from 1 to a 0. Like it'll, like maybe half of the picture, you might have seen this while you're browsing around, like half of the picture might look okay, and then starting at one point it'll have like a funny color and everything will be a little bit blue the whole rest of the way down. So if there's one error just like that, once we get to the server, I don't want to process it. Okay? We talked about error rate last class, right? So if there's an error in here, and it gets to the server, if there's an error and I don't want to deal with it, are we good with this? Because why would I process it if there's an error? So go back to my conversation here. Here's another thing you guys need to know about my flip phones. We subscribe to a thing called Pure Talk USA. And it is, you pay $15 a month, and you can have 2 phone lines, and they give you 2 free flip phones. Free. 15 bucks a month. Want another phone line for my son? Free phone. Another 5 bucks a month. Here's the trade-off. Call quality sucks. Oh, it's so bad. Okay. So if I call my wife and she's like, hello, hello, and I say school closes at 3, it might be a little garbled. And so she would do what? She'd say, what? How about this, though? If she hears it say, like, closes at 3, she'd be like, oh, closes at 3, he's saying school closes at 3. And so she can sort of make up the difference in what happened. A server, is it going to be able to make sense of this garbled message? No. In fact, we don't want it to. Don't guess. It's don't process it, period. So with an unreliable protocol, we detect the errors, but we don't fix them. Now, just like, you know, I had this as garbled, and I said, and she said, what? She's fixing, or we're going to fix the errors, right? I'm going to say, sorry, school closes at 3, and try to be louder and more distinct, right? So we're fixing the errors by another process. Isn't that fun? So we can totally do that, right? Now, reliable. Now let me do it on this. Normally, just so you know, if you're connectionless, that's this one, you're usually unreliable, but we'll worry about that in a little bit. Oops. Here's how a reliable protocol works. We check for errors, and then we retransmit if an error is found. But it kind of, usually it works in a funny way, and I'll just tell you the funny way. So here's me and here's my lovely assistant. And so I'm doing something like, so we negotiate the connection, we're okay with that. We're all negotiated. Then I say, school closes. So I send her that message. Oh, she even did it right there. The okay is the acknowledgement. Okay, so anytime there's a good message, I get an acknowledgement. School closes at 3. I need you to blah, 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 blah. She's going to do two things. She'll say okay, like she's acknowledging the message, and then she will send her message. That's where the what time. Now when I get the what time back, I need to acknowledge that with an okay. So I heard your what time. And then I send, what did I say, 4 o'clock. And then I send 4 o'clock, and there's no response. So connection timed out. Y'all following me here? There's no response. What am I going to do when she's on the phone? And I said, okay, 4 o'clock. Hello? We're going to, fix it. 4 o'clock, did you hear me? So I will. What a computer does is it resends. Oops, that doesn't look good. We'll put resend the not acknowledged. Okay? One of the things about a computer protocol, I mean, you assume it's a computer on the other end, and you didn't just go out. There are times, by the way, you'd send 4 o'clock, wait a minute, send the 4 o'clock again. And then on your computer screen it would say connection timed out because there was no response in that amount of time. So I resend anything that's not acknowledged. That is the fixing. And that's what makes it reliable. Okay? So back at the other one, I'm already losing my stuff here. We're an unreliable protocol, we're going to fix errors using another process. In this protocol, we're actually fixing errors as they happen. So remember, I changed, see all these okays now? We changed the way we were talking, and now it sounds more like a space flight, right? Houston, or this is Houston, Atlantis, this is Houston, acknowledged. And they say, Roger, Houston, we are ready for go. And then Houston says, Roger, start main engines. And then they say, Roger, right? So that's what these okays are. We change the protocol, we change the way we communicate in order to make it reliable. There's a few okays in here, sorry. But she would do the okay, what time? And I would say, okay, 4 o'clock. Okay, and by the way, even the thanks and the byes, those are acknowledged too. Even the hellos are. Hello, okay, hello, okay. Fun stuff. So that's reliable. We check for errors and we retransmit them.